Put myself on the screen big so you guys can see me. I'm going to mute you. Let's see. There we go. All right, so lie down and find a sense of ease. Let your body rest. Come into a state of just dropping, just dropping. There's nothing to do. There's nowhere to go. Just drop into a sense of this moment at hand. Do you want your legs straight? Do you want your legs bent? And just let yourself kind of pull out into the puddle. So, spread yourself out. Let your muscles relax and kind of fall away from the bones. Come into your breath. Notice your breath. See if you can make sure that you're breathing through your nose instead of through your mouth. You can breathe out through your mouth, but just remember that there's a lot of good things that happen when we breathe through our nose. So let's take advantage. As you exhale, drop your body down. Now see what it would feel like to open yourself up to that compassionate state that we were just working with, sitting up. Where are you feeling it in your body now? Is there tension, anxiety, strain? You don't have to bring your hands over top of yourself, but just feed yourself some compassion and love. All right, let's go ahead and bend our knees and rock a little bit, just swaying from side to side and circling your knees a little bit. Just come into what it feels like to notice your sacroiliac joints, your pelvis, and go the other direction. And then right knee into the chest, left leg long on the floor. Give it a good squeeze, and we're just going to go back and forth a few times. So left knee in, right knee in. And you go as fast or as slow as you want to go. Maybe you don't want to move and you just want to stay put for a little while. All is good, no matter what you're choosing to do. All right, and then bring the knees in again, both of them. Let's open the knees away from each other. Bring the knees back into each other. And just find that sense of freedom in your hip joints, or maybe it doesn't feel so free. Maybe you got some little rickety, things going on in there, and that's okay too. Just find what you're finding. Put your feet flat on the ground. Stretch your arms overhead. Your knees are wide. Your feet are wide. And then let's just drop the knees over to one side and over to the other side. And maybe you want to stretch through your body a little bit. Maybe you want to stretch the arms. Maybe you'd rather have your arms down, lower. Just find, get yourself open a little bit. Wake up the belly. Wake up the rib cage. Wake up the movement of your hips. Go ahead and relax. Grab onto your strap and let's take 2 feet in the strap. Let's just find this first. Just get into the spaciousness of your spine. So of course your legs are going to stretch here, but really try to sense that this is not just about your legs, but about the spine growing. Just enjoy all the space while we're still horizontal on the floor. Gravity has a little bit different hold on us here, so let gravity help you spread out the spine instead of compress the spine. Wake up the bottom of your feet. Maybe wiggle your toes a little bit. You can even flex and point your toes a little bit if the strap doesn't fall off your heels. Just kind of waking up the lower feet, the lower legs and the feet. All right, and then bring the knees into the chest and go ahead and release that. We'll probably come back to that, but for now, let's roll over onto our side and come up onto your hands and your knees. Okay, so let's start moving in some cat-cows, arching the back, rounding the spine, taking your time to notice how your vertebrae are moving. Do you have some space there? Have you been sitting at a desk all day? Have you been on your feet for a lot of the day? How has your spine been today? And then feel free to move things around. So you can kind of circle through your pelvis or circle through your ribs. Move your head from side to side. Any kind of movement that your body is asking for. And then curl the toes under and stretch back towards child's pose. Just a little bit. It doesn't have to be a deep child's pose, but just start to wake up the bottom of the feet a little bit more. Notice if you have any cranky toes, feel free to kind of come in and out a little bit. And then back up onto all fours. Let's find a twist. Inhale the right arm up in the air. Exhale and slide that shoulder down. Feel the space between your shoulder blades. Gaze toward the floor. Press your left hand into the ground. Take the femur bones back, inner spiral the thighs a little bit so you're not walking the hips over to the side. How's your breath? How's it living in the back of your body? And then inhale, then reach that arm all the way up to the sky again. Change sides. Left arm lifting. Exhale and slide that shoulder down. Gaze toward the floor. Have a little pressure in the hand. Move the shoulders away from the ears. Find your breath. And then inhale. And lift that arm all the way back up to the sky. Place the hands back down onto the ground. Curl the toes under and find your way into dog pose. Now feel free to move around here. So pedal your heels, one down, the other down. Maybe pick up your foot or sway your hips. Let the feet open, let the hands open. Feel the backs of the legs stretch, not just the calves, but feel the hamstrings. So lift the sit bones. And then let's walk our feet forward and come into Uttanasana. Bend in half, let the spine rest. Feel a sense of ease. You can wag your tail here, roll your shoulders around, move your neck. Inhale for a halfway lift. Hold the tops of the thighs, the shin bones are moving forward. Then exhale and melt back down. So you never have to straighten your legs all the way. It's all good. Let's try one more time. Halfway lift here. And then exhale and release. Back down. Push off your feet. Rise up, reaching the arms to the sky. Find your breath, open your heart, cactus, open your chest a little bit, and then exhale and round in, chin tucks toward the chest. Let's do that one more time. Open the chest, open the breath, and then exhale and round in. Release the hands, interlace them behind the back, open the chest, spread across your collarbones, pull the hands away from your spine a little bit, bend your knees, lift your arms away from the back wherever they naturally go, relax the head. The feet are hip width apart and deeply bent. And then release the shoulders. We'll release the hands down onto the floor. Come onto all fours. Come into a little bit of a cat-cow. Feel free to move the spine any direction you want to move it. And let's grab some blocks and bring them forward. So as you guys know, this is not a traditional restorative yoga class. Many restorative classes you go to, you come in and you lay down right away. And I think it's really important to just get in your body a little bit, to feel a little bit of mobility, a little freedom, and a little presence before we're able to, I don't know about you, but I need that before I can really settle into a restorative posture. So let's keep our back knee down, very gentle here, just moving back and forth. If you want to pick it up and do, more of a full movement through the hips, that's great. So you choose knee down or knee up, as you just start to open the hamstrings and breathe. All right, come into your lunge. Reach the arms up. Just take a moment, maybe some cactus arms, maybe interlace the hands behind your back, whatever feels nice. Feel the openness of the hip flexors. And then release the hands back down onto the ground. Bring your back foot forward, your front foot back. So just switch sides, coming into a lunge, knee down, or you can have your knee up off the ground. You decide how you want to be. The heart's forward, moving here. Finding the breath. And find your way into a lunge, back knee down onto the ground. Same thing, where do you want your arms to be? You can put them anywhere you like. Feel the sense of stability, so a little hugging of the front heel and the back knee. So your legs are working for this posture. You're not just falling into the ground. Find your breathing. Open your chest. No matter what you're doing with your arms, feel freedom across your chest. And release the hands down onto the ground. Let's come back onto all fours one more time. Some cat-cows. Feel free to swirl things around a little bit, anything that feels good. All right, now we're going to come into either, I know this is a big pose, but come into either pigeon pose or reverse pigeon pose. So if you want to come into pigeon pose, bring your left foot forward, right leg comes back. Feel the posture, make sure you're supported in the way you want to be supported. And if you are doing reverse pigeon pose, so that's, you guys know, come onto your back, and we're going to put our left foot on top of our right knee and bring that leg in. So you find what you're finding. If you're in pigeon pose, try to have some support. So grab some props so that you can have your head supported. So whatever height you need to have underneath you, so that you can relax the forehead down on something. So whichever one you're choosing, and if you're on your back, remember you can always put your foot against a wall or against a piece of furniture, a couch leg or something, so that your upper body can be very restful in this pose instead of having to work toward holding your leg. So whatever you're choosing to do, let's just take a moment and rest here. If you're on your back, melt the spine again, spread things out. If you're facing the floor, melt your forehead into some support. Just doctor something up, a chair, a block, some blankets, anything that you need. Deep breaths in and away. Melt your spine, melt your jaw, melt your eyes, melt your tongue. Try to sense into the sensations of the body. Where is tension living? What kind of offering can you give to that tension? Can you give your breath as an offering? Can you give your compassion as an offering? And then as you're ready, we're going to change sides. So if you're on your belly and you want to do pigeon pose on the other side, make sure that you are supported as we bring our right leg forward. If you're in reverse pigeon pose, you just bring your right foot on top of your left knee now, and just find what you find. Okay, so this can be a very big, giant pose for a lot of people, either pose. So just allow the hips to find their way into some freedom. Whatever it is, make sure that you feel that sense of support where your forehead, if you're in pigeon pose, is resting on something. And if you're on your back, you can either hold on with your hands or you can put your foot on a prop so that your upper body can just be soft and restful. Whatever you're choosing to do, melt. Find that gift of giving your breath, giving the sense of surrender, giving your compassion to any place you're finding. It might be a new place. Things morph and change and shift moment by moment. So maybe something different is coming up that needs some care in your body. And then as we're ready, let's go ahead and come out of that pose. And we're going to find ourselves onto our back now. Okay, so grab your strap. We're going to come into Supta Padangusthasana. Padangusthasana, it's such a good pose. It's restful, we're on our back, but it's also a very big opening for the glutes and the spine and the hamstrings. So let's bring our left leg or right leg, whichever you got, you don't have to switch, up in the air. Stretch your strap around your foot. Feel the rooting, feel the rising. So root into the hip, rise up through the foot. Notice the spine getting longer and more spread out. Have some softness through your shoulders. So try not to hike up toward the foot with your arms so that your shoulders get jacked up. Everything is surrendering downward. Breathe deeply. Even though there's some isolation. And you can do this pose also in a door frame. So if you ever want to lay your leg in the air up against the wall and your other leg kind of goes through a door frame, that's a nice way to do the pose sometimes. It's a little even more restful than this, if that's possible. We're going to take the strap into the left hand and open the leg out to the left. Feeling a sense of spaciousness. Now notice what the right side of your body is feeling or the opposite side of your body is feeling. If you're tending to go with the leg and the hips lifting up, try to find some stability. Root yourself down a little bit more. Let the leg come out a little bit less to the side so that you're keeping integrity, stability, at the same time as opening through the inner thigh. And then inhale and lift that leg back up. 2 feet in the strap. We are going to cross over, but not just yet. We're going to do it a little differently. So stretch 2 feet up in the air. Soft knees, long spine. Let's take the left foot out. Right foot stays in the strap, or other foot if you did the other side. Feel a sense of length through the side bodies. Try not to smush your hip up toward the shoulder, but instead move it away. Notice the knee. Try not to lock out the knee and hyperextend. Have a little teeny micro bend in the knee. I mean, you can have it pretty bent too if you want, but just make sure you're not hyperextending the knee. Feel the spine grow. How's your breath here? Connect into that compassionate sensation, the offering you're giving to yourself. Let's take the strap into the right hand. We're going to open that leg out to the right. Stay rooted and grounded through the left side. Stability comes from the whole left side of your body, not just, pushing your knee down into the floor. Stretch and open through the inner thigh. Stretch through the big toe and the inner heel. Feel the spine grow a little bit longer. Deep breath in, deep breath away. All right, then inhale and lift that leg straight back up. Hold the strap now and 2 feet one more time. Up in there, hold the strap now with 2 hands. Feel the extension. Find the breath. And go ahead and bend the knees into the chest. I'm going to take this into a little bit of a twist. Feet down onto the ground. Lift your hips, scooch them to the right, bring your knees up, and drop them left. So we're in a pretty big spinal twist. And now I want you to take the strap, wrap it around your right foot, and stretch that right leg out. So we're adding a little bit more of a twist into this than we sometimes do. The left knee is bent. The knees are staying together. Straighten the right leg out and hold the right foot with your strap. Open up across your chest and just feel the IT band open. It's a little deeper than how we sometimes go into this pose. And then inhale, lift both knees up. Find a neutral spine again. Same leg, strap still on the right foot. Stretch your left leg on the floor, and now just cross the right foot over to the left a little bit, maybe, a foot or less away from the midline, crossed over the midline, I should say. Then take the head of the femur bone away, and now just feel a little different stretch through the IT band than when we were deeper into the twist. Bring that foot back up, 2 feet in the strap, one more time. We're gonna go backwards through that. So right leg on the floor, cross the left leg over, maybe a foot or so past the midline. Don't go super far. Stretch the hip away from the shoulder, stretch out through the big toe and the inner heel, and just notice where you're feeling this. Give some love into the outer hip, the IT band. What is it that you're feeling? Is your knee soft? Try not to hyperextend the knee. Okay, and then bring that leg back up. Put your foot on the ground now. Keep hold of the strap, feet down, lift the hips up, scooch them left, knees up, drop them right. Take a breath here before we add the leg into it. Just enjoy the twist. Open your body up, be free. Deep full inhales, long exhales. We're going to take the strap in our left foot, knees stay together, right leg is bent. And feel the left hip move away from the shoulder. Stretch through the big toe and inner heel. Just find your sweet spot. Deep breaths in, deep breaths away. And then go ahead and relax the strap away. 2 feet up, put your feet down onto the ground. Let's just enjoy this for a moment. Rest the back. Find your breath. And then bring your knees into the chest and rock a little bit. Hopefully you guys have blocks. Okay, we're going to grab a block. And this is our first kind of static, well, not really. We've already done some holding poses, but this is our first kind of restorative, quote unquote, restorative pose. To me, it's all restorative. If we're present and available to surrender in a pose, it will renew us. Okay, so put the block underneath our pelvis. The feet can stay on the ground. If you feel so inclined, you can stretch your legs, but this is a much bigger pose for the pelvis and the back. So I don't want you to feel at all obligated to do that, but if you have a burning desire to, you can. For the most part, just keep your feet on the floor and enjoy the setting, the kind of lifting the pelvis up, letting it rest down on the block. Deep breaths into the belly, bottomless breath. See if your diaphragm can be free enough to move your belly well. And notice the exhale. There's a gravitational retreat on the exhale where your diaphragm can naturally recoil back toward the lungs very easily because of gravity. Kind of bringing the diaphragm toward the heart. All right. Let's go ahead and take a moment to just have a couple of more deep breaths here. We're going to come back to something like this in a moment, but not quite this. Okay, so lift the hips up, get the block out of there, and we're going to come into heart bench. So if you have 2 blocks, let's go ahead and use our 2 blocks. So 1 block long. There's a few ways you can go about this. So 1 block long in between your shoulder blades, the other block underneath the base of the skull at the medium height of the block. And if you prefer to have both blocks be wide across the spine instead of in line with the spine, you can try that too. So you experiment. Have the block between your shoulder blades, right in that little nook, and then the other one underneath the base of your skull. And mess around with this until you get it just right. If you don't have 2 blocks, then use your 1 block underneath your spine and stack up blankets or whatever you got to have your head supported in a comfortable way. So have the firmness of the block underneath your chest. If you have nothing, no blocks, then you just work with what you got. Have a pleated blanket, not a rolled blanket underneath your spine, long ways, and then another one under your head. Legs can do what legs want to do. So maybe you want to open your legs up into Baddha Konasana. Maybe you want to sit cross-legged. Maybe you would like to stretch your legs straight. Maybe you want to have your legs wide. Maybe you want to have the soles of your feet on the floor and your knees bent. So experiment with what makes you feel most comfortable in your spine. And just discover. Let the heads of the arm bones melt away. Peel off some of the layers of the heart. Find the breath opening into that compassionate presence. Deep inhale. Long exhale. Find a few more rounds of the depth of your breath. Big open chest. Melt into the surrender. Let's go ahead and roll over onto our side. Bring your knees into your chest. Rest your head on the block or the blankets for a moment. Allow yourself to curl just a little bit so you're rounding the spine, kind of nourishing after the back bend. And then as you're ready, let's go ahead and lift ourselves up. So find your way into Supta Baddha Konasana. Couch pillows, bolsters, blocks, blankets, everything you need. So couch pillows are really nice if you don't have a bolster because they're firm usually and they're wide. So you guys have been doing this class, so you've got your system in place, I bet, for what that looks like. For me, I've got a bolster on top of 2 blocks, and then I have blankets for underneath my knees and pillows for underneath my hands. So there's so many different variations. This is just what works for my body. Make sure your knees are supported. Make sure you're not hanging in space. No matter what position you end up taking, whether you're super high with your back or low, or your knees are high or low or whatever, the only important thing, it's not the position necessarily, but it's the support that matters. So the soles of the feet are together. The knees splay out and open out to the sides, support underneath your back. If I have one more blanket, I put another one under my head. That little extra bit of height can sometimes make a big difference underneath your head to make your breath easy. So get comfortable and just maybe start out with what you think you should do and that you've done in the past, and then notice maybe today's different. Maybe you need different support today than you normally do or than you have in the past. Okay, so once you find what you need to softly settle into your support, let yourself melt. So fidget around until you get it all just right, and then let yourself be still if you can. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. Find a sense of surrender. Let go of what you can. Melt through the jaw and the tongue. Feel the breath. See if you can let the exhales be very much about surrender. Letting go. What can you surrender to? Can the surrender be about letting go of the weight? But can it also be about leaning in? Allowing yourself to just be in the presence of your own suffering. Maybe you don't feel suffering right now. Maybe you feel good and you just want to be in the presence of something that feels good. So the most important thing is to just be in the presence of what is, whatever it is right now in your body, in your mind, in your heart that you're finding. Can you allow that compassionate presence open itself up? begin to find your way out of this posture. But before you move, let's just sink in for a few breaths and appreciate this pose, appreciate the sensations of the body, the openness that this pose gives you. Can you give yourself that compassionate heart here? Feed yourself some good breaths. Let's go ahead and find our way carefully and quietly. Now, I say get up, but maybe you want to go back down. So what I would suggest for this, Tonglen meditation, meditation is typically done sitting up, and for sure you can do that. But I would also recommend that perhaps in the service of caring for yourself, you can stack your blankets that were underneath your knees and put them underneath your knees this way. Maybe you can still have support for your arms, and maybe this isn't comfortable. Maybe you get here and you're like, no, I'd rather sit up or lay down flat. So this will be the beginning. We're going to move from this meditation into Shavasana. So take a moment now to get yourself comfortable in the way that you want to be right now. There's no rights or wrongs. Maybe you want to sit up. And while you're getting ready, I'll kind of describe Tonglen. So we're just going to do it for about 5 minutes. But Tonglen meditation is the art of this compassionate presence that hopefully you've been generating within yourself during practice, to offer that outward, to imagine when you are in that grace of heartfelt, deep self-compassion, that you can give that same energy outward. So Tonglen, technically means to give and to take. So we're going to offer to take in suffering of others and then offer out that compassionate presence that we've been developing. So you can have words attached to this, may all beings be happy, may all beings be free, may all beings be at ease, or it can be something that's not verbal inside your own head. I mean, you can speak out loud if you want to, but it doesn't have to be attached to words. It could just be emotions. So close your eyes and let's begin by just being aware of your own presence. And anytime it gets difficult, if you find that this practice is too much, where you just don't have it to give, that taking in the suffering is too hard, you just return back to your own being. You return to the state of caring for yourself and letting go of the need to care for others or to offer that energy out to others. You can just stay offering it to yourself. And there's nothing to feel badly about that. We have to give to ourselves first and foremost. So if you're able to follow, great. And if you need to just keep it home right inside your own heart, you do that too. Deep breath. Rest the body like Shavasana. Give yourself over to the earth. Feel at ease. And let's just take a moment to first think of someone very close to you, someone you love, someone that's really easy to offer your care and attention to. And maybe it's a little pack of people, your inner sanctum, your family, whatever it is. So it doesn't have to just be one person, but just have this deep sense of taking in, breathing in the challenges that this person or these people have been facing. Maybe it has to do with coronavirus and quarantine. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it has something to do with an entirely different thing that is causing some suffering. And then allow yourself to breathe out all of your compassion, your open heart. If there's words attached of wishes, well wishes, that's great. If there's not, just breathe. And with every breath in and every breath out, find this sense of connection, offering your compassion and grace, opening your heart to be empathetic, to feel what it feels like to hold the embrace of what someone else might be feeling. You can move out now a little further into your community. Maybe, just people that are coming into your mind, your stretched out community, your coworkers, your extended family, your friends, the person that you buy your groceries from, whatever, whoever is coming to your mind. Just allow yourself to feel that group intention of holding suffering. It can be nameless, it can be named, it doesn't have to be named. And breathing out your compassion, your well wishes, your love. You can have words to it if you've created words. You can have no words if you've created no words inside of your mind. Just breathing your way into this grace. It is grace to feel suffering of others and to give your compassion and love. And let's move even beyond your immediacy. Let's think more worldly now. So stretch this out to include, maybe you want a bird's eye view. Maybe you want to imagine yourself on the moon, kind of looking down at the earth and holding the earth and all of its beings. Maybe you want to be planted right here in Denver and stretch a web around the world or as far as you're able to find in your heart. And just take in that global suffering, the way that our entire world is unified right now with a common thing that we're struggling with. This is a huge opportunity to feel a deep sense of connection with the world. So all the little bits of that, whatever's coming to you, if you've heard specific stories about people around the world or just have an image of the earth in its entirety, breathe in the suffering, the struggle. Breathe out your compassion. And in this way, we start to melt the klesha of feeling separate. We start to feel the flow of connection that ties us all together. See if you can feel that flow like water pouring over a rock. Open your heart into that. And then let's go ahead and release what you're feeling. And just surrender into the earth. Feel your weight. Drop into the present moment, this space, your body. Shrink yourself away from the full global earth now and come into your own heart. Feel your breath. Maybe even touch your body with your hands to feel this grounding of this body, this moment, this space. And then release thought if you can, and just melt yourself into the breath and into the earth. Begin to deepen our breathing. Deep inhale, long, steady exhale. Find some movement, little bits at a time. And eventually coming up to sit. And this Tonglen meditation does not have to be a formal seated thing. It can be you're walking around the park and you're totally immersed in the beauty of a tree. And you can just offer the tree, offer the beauty that you're seeing outward. May everybody have this feeling of seeing this beautiful tree. So just share the goodness, the beauty, the joy that you come across in your day. You can pause and just offer it and know that that energy expands. So let's do a little bit of it now. Offer your energy. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.